Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What TV show will you never watch regardless of who tells you it's amazing and why? The Bachelor. I'd rather watch paint dry than a bunch of people fight over one person. There was a season of the German version of The Bachelorette where the guys were just kinda having a fun time, not engaging in any sort of beef and literally crying seeing their newfound buddies being voted off the show. The producing network tried to introduce drama, but the guys were just happy to be each other in a villa, driving Porsches and chilling at the pool. https://youtube.be/z-hdp74t0dn0?c=fbbgtm_womexen. It's German, but you might find the subtitles useful. Were any of them there just for the zip line? And it's all fake anyway. I never got the hype. It's fun to see manufactured drama within an established set of rules. The Bachelor is not all that different from WWE, you know it's fake, but it's fun to see how the storylines are set up and play out. That show where singers spin around in their chairs and pick a winner. It's probably got rules but I have no idea what they are, and no desire to learn. The Voice. I thought it was a cool concept, actually judge by the sound and not how the person looks, but realize the producers realistically likely tell them when to turn. For me, it was when I realized the show was all about the coaches and there hasn't been a single breakout star from the show in 13 years, they just do an elaborate karaoke competition, and then you never hear about them again. They have never had an equivalent to Kelly Clarkson, so they just hired her to be a judge instead. Lol, the singers are just left there to awkwardly watch the judges squabble, and after so many years of this I got bored and refused to watch it anymore. Any kind of prank show or a show that relies on embarrassment. There was a show called The Joe Schmo Show that was set up like a reality competition show. Everyone was an actor except for one guy. I've heard the final reveal was actually quite damaging for him when he realized the whole experience had been a setup and he was the butt of the joke. It was tough for the actors and producers too because the guy was genuinely a great guy and everyone felt really bad with the way the scripted portion of the show fucked with the poor guy. There were behind the scenes cuts of the actors crying because of it. Also jury duty on Prime. Every single dating show. This used to be me. Until I'd catch my GF watching a show in the living room. You know how it goes. You catch wind of something on the screen and look for a few seconds, but you definitely don't care about it. Then next time you're viewing something else going down, and your GF asks if you want to watch it with her and she doesn't mind going back episodes if you do, but you say, no, this is definitely not my thing, and you walk on. But then every new time you stop past your watching longer and longer scenes, and even asking your girl questions. Then boom, one day you're just cuddled up with her under a blanket with some popcorn watching it with her and she's just happy as a clam. This happened to me on the flip side with Star Trek, Next Generation back in the 90s. My future husband turned me into a huge lifelong nerd. Pretty sure I was cool before then. Younger folks may not realize that it was once social kryptonite to be very into sci-fi, D&D, comic books, computers, fantasy. These things were enjoyed in the secrecy of one's basement. Closing parenthesis. The Bear. I have been in the food industry most of my adult life. When I finished the first episode, I did not feel entertained but instead felt dread for the next episode to come. A testament to the show for sure, but I just can't watch a shift from work after I get off a shift from work. All my friends who never worked in that industry said I would like it. No, I would not, lol. My brother hated The Office when he had to go to the office every day, but once he started working from home it became one of his favorite shows. This Is Us. It's cry porn. When I need that, I watch The Visitor from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Yes. I don't want or need an emotional flogging every time I go to watch something. Same. When the Alzheimer's storyline was happening, people kept telling me INEEDED to watch. No thanks. I live it every day with my mom. I watch TV as an escape, not to dive deeper into despair. It started out more normal. It wasn't crazy drama every episode. It was just a really down-to-earth storyline involving some adult siblings. By the time it actually hit me that I couldn't make it through an episode or two without crying, I was too far in and needed to see how it ended. I literally had to be in a good mood prior to watching towards the end of those last 2 seasons or else I would break down. Some related life stuff was happening to me which made it extra hard. Should have just stopped and cut my losses with that finale too, lol. This Is Us became such a massive, woe is me, pity party show that I stopped watching it. My wife and I started watching This Is Us. I stopped after I found out how the dad died in the fire. I keep thinking, he's been dead over 20 years. Time to move on. My wife watched it through the end. Sometimes I would watch a couple of scenes with her and ask, who's dying now? Kardashians or anything they're in. I skipped the last season of Ours because one was in it. Who is out there vouching that the Kardashians is good and a must-watch? The general public. That show wouldn't have lasted so long if people were not watching it. Big Bang Theory, I just find every character insufferable just by looking at them. I watched an episode once where someone had removed the laugh track. It was cruel and disgusting in equal measure, and changed the way I look at the show completely. Removing the live audience from any show where dialogue is paced around audience reactions is going to be jarring, to be fair. Try watching the IT Crowd or Seinfeld without the laugh track and you run into the same issue. Removing the laughs from most sitcoms has this effect. The series Kevin Can FK Himself, I'm Not Self-Censoring, that's the official title, plays with this idea to an extent that might make you really uncomfortable. Every show with the word island in it. Except Gilligan's Island, right? Those poor people. The Monster series on Netflix. Ryan Murphy took some dark periods of crime history and turned it into his erotic fanfiction. The Jeffrey Dahmer story was willfully made without the input of the families of Dahmer's victims, and the Menendez brothers' story demonized rape victims and made them incestuous lovers. Ryan Murphy is a walking fucking insult to the victims. Yeah, the Menendez brothers one really excited me at first and I got through most of the show, but ever since I found out how inaccurate it is, I couldn't bring myself to finish those last 2 or 3 episodes. I'm just gonna wait for the documentary coming out in a week and some change. Any of the Housewives of Wherever shows. My mom got really into these when she was dying of cancer, and they hold a weirdly special place in my heart as a result. After she lost most of her mobility, it was one of the few things we could still do together. I did ask her one day why she liked these shows. She never watched them before she got sick. She smirked and weakly told me, I dunno, it's kind of nice to see people who don't have real problems. Cold sweat smile. What a wonderful way to put it. The Real Housewives of First World Problems. Grey's Anatomy, I just can't. Scrubs did it better. Edit, to all the stands commenting, I literally said Scrubs did it better than Grey's Anatomy. You can refrain from commenting that is the best because I really don't care lol. But Scrubs didn't have the drama of not being able to have sex at work anymore. I highly doubt and hope that a real hospital isn't being operated by a bunch of horny 20-somethings who can't keep their pants on. People are going to die a lot more than normal if that's the case. Also Scrubs was way more enjoyable. This is why I watch House. He's an asshole. I'm an asshole. He's a doctor. I'm an idiot. It's basically the story of my life. I can't watch any of those pseudo-dating shows. The Bachelor, Love Island, Love at First Sight. Just no. Immediately no. They're a new level of manufactured fake garbage. Bring back trashy 2000s VH1 reality dating shows. Less AI-generated men with golden retrievers, more goofy rappers wearing clocks. One Piece. I ain't got time for 1,000 plus episodes. One Piece is a show I'll watch before I die. But never right now. Everyone I know who watches it says it is absolutely incredible. Of course, it isn't a great sample as they're the ones who committed at least 300 hours to it. However, a friend told me about One Piece, a community edit where they remove all filler. Apparently it makes the show like 1/3 road the length. I'll watch it one day, but never now. Netflix has the live action, which is interesting in its own right, but they also announced an anime remake of the anime series, called, somewhat confusingly, The One Piece. It's supposed to have significantly better pacing and won't have that 90s animation that One Piece starts off with. Anything to do with Kardashians, Dancing with Stars or talent contests. I work in restaurants and live in Montana. If you try to get me to watch either Yellowstone or The Bear, I will punch you in either the balls or the ovaries. I lived in Montana for 13 years and everyone is like, you left Yellowstone. No. I left northern Montana tundra where the winters were so harsh we couldn't leave the house for weeks at a time. If you want Sons of Anarchy on horses, go to the San Joaquin Valley in California. There's plenty of that and you won't freeze to death in January. Bridgerton. I'm literally their target audience and I just couldn't get into it. I love period dramas, I love elaborate costume and set design, I love easy watching bubbly TV, but I just couldn't do Bridgerton. I'm the opposite. I'm completely not their target audience. My wife wanted to watch it so I half-assed joined in. Found the first season to be okay enough for me to want to finish it. It had a unique execution even if it was weird. Season 2 I was bloody hooked. It's corny AF. Downton Abbey is one of my favorite shows, Rip Cousin Violet, and I was told I'd love Bridgerton. It's such trash in comparison. It's like Downton Abbey without any of the interesting dialogue and characters or accurate and beautiful set and costume design. I do think that the whole alternate reality where a black queen erased racism from British culture is interesting, but it's barely explored at all, at least in S1. I stopped watching after that. The Handmaid's Tale. I couldn't take the fact that Offred keeps blowing her chances of escape. I love the book, but her book version is more resilient and less self-destructive than the show version. She is the slowest moving person trying to escape ever. It's maddening. She makes me shout at the screen. Run, girl. Run. Why are you just standing there thinking? Quote. Yay, it takes away from the horrors of the book, which is realistic. In reality, no one would let go of their chance to escape that hell. I'll never watch it because Elizabeth Moss is a Scientologist and I don't support anything with one of them. I could deal with one actor being in that cult, but for The Handmaid's Tale it felt extra fucked up that the main actress plays a role trying to escape a cult, while being in a fucking cult. I started out watching it, it was so exciting and interesting, then it just got darker and darker until I couldn't watch it any longer. If you don't want to be stressed out and disturbed, it's a good idea to pass on this one, haha. It gets better. Atwood's intent was to show that the horrors of Gilead, while fictional, draw from actual human history and practices. I literally had to take days off between episodes cause it left me feeling horrible. Never did finish it. I studied this in English literature A-level years ago, and couldn't bear the thought of watching it. Then when multiple seasons were released I was annoyed because at that point it would have clearly steered away from the book. For what it's worth, Atwood worked closely with the producers to adapt Season 1, and according to IMDb Atwood is credited as an executive producer into Season 5. I think she has greenlit everything they have written since they passed where the novel ended, but I could be wrong.